Hello and welcome everyone. Hope you're all having an amazing day. Today we'll be looking at different basics of Python, starting from variables and types. Then we will jump back into the operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, all the stuff. And then we will conclude our video with if-else statements and standard input from the user. So what we are waiting for, let's jump in. So let's say if we are required here to start our application and declare variables. What are variables? Variables are just the placeholder for your data. For example, if you want to store some string element or you want to store some integer like the grade of a student, or if he's married or not, some Boolean value, you can do that all with the help of storing such information inside the variable. How you can do that? Let's say we want to create some person with some basic attributes. Let's say the name of the person is Boobla, okay, and then the Boobla has some age. Let's say he's a very old man. Age of Boobla is going to be 29. I'm sorry. And then we can also give Boobla some other variable, other attributes such as is he married or not? Is married, okay, and let's say false because I mean obviously who would want to marry Bubla here. So we need to I'm sorry Bubla, don't take it the wrong way. So the name here is Bubla, okay. So here we are storing some string element within the name. Then we also have an integer value that we are putting inside the age, and also we could store a boolean variable, boolean value, I'm sorry. You can also store some floating point that could be represented in the rational format, irrational format, or rational format. So let's say we have some grade of Bubla that is like 55.55. I don't hate Bubla. Bubla is a very nice guy. So these are all the variables that you could declare inside Python. Also, there is much more that I'm not covering here because it's not the scope of this video. These are just the basics one. Now, like if you have worked with any other programming language, you know that you always have to declare the type of the variable beforehand. But in Python, things work magically. It's very simple. So you just have to give in the variable and the Python will decide itself which type of variable you are declaring. So if we just use the predefined function of Python and check the type of boobla, that would give us the string value. If we type in instead the age, it should return us integer value. And if we type in the is married variable, it should return us the boolean, and similarly floating point for the grade of the boobla. Later on, we have some operators for us. Operators you could perform like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, which gives you the reminder of the division that you're performing, and also double slash, which gives you the integer response of your division. Let's say we define two values, for example, A, which is the value 25, and then we have the B, which takes the value 4. Now we could perform certain operations here. Let's say we just add some code operators here. If we perform some addition, A plus B should give us 29 as you expected. If we perform multiplication, times b should give us 100 because 4 times 25 is 100. If my math is correct, this should be fine. I hope so. If you have a minus b should give you 21. Perfect. I'm a genius. And you can similarly, they're all important. You can also perform some division by b, but remember that 25 can't be divided by 4. I mean, it can be. It will give you a boolean, a floating point value. Let's say if we just want to store this result inside a result, and now if we print out the first, let's say print two different things. We print out first the result, which could be, okay, I'm just going a bit fancy here by the f strings. We will cover this later on in the video, but here just remember that we are first printing out the result, then printing out the type of that result. So we will pass in the result here. So if you run this code, So the result was 6.25, but the class was floating point, not the integer. If you want to receive the integer, which should be either like either the it will be rounded up the value, so it will go down or go up. For example, if we do it a divided by b, this should return you the value 6. Perfect. So that's all for the operators. You also have a modulus operator. Sorry, I forgot. So the modulus operator should return you the reminder of the operation that you're performing, the division. For example, if we do a modulus, which is represented by the percentage sign, this should give you the value 1. So that's it. That's it for the operators. Very simple, very easy. Very nice. We can also look at the comparison operators. For example, if we check, is B greater than A? Should know the answer. Yes, it's going to be false. If the A is greater than B, this should be true. Perfect. So this works, luckily. Whew. Okay, so now let's look at if-else conditions. If-else conditions really help you in organizing your code, building up different workflows. For example, the input of the user is not according to your expectations, which direction you should follow and which direction you should not go to. So let's say I ask a user, let's say the user gives me a name, which is Bubla, and it says the if he doesn't like Bubla. So if he says Bubla, if Bubla is remove is in name, just print out you are ugly. Oh my god, Bubla is really gonna be pissed. But instead, if we have let's say else, and we say if we change the name, it should be mine. And if this name is present, we should just give, yeah, you are welcome. Wow, you see, that's how it works. So not only the if and else condition exists, but also there is another condition called elif, which is very useful if you have multiple conditions, all bunch them together. For let's look at an example. You have a variable called a, which stores the value 5, 6, or 5, okay? And then you have another variable that stores the value 4. And first thing you need to check if a is greater than b. What you want to do is like print out the fact that a is greater than b. In other case, you check another condition if elif, no, not else, but elif, a is equals to b. Notice here that I gave double equals to in order to check whether this statement is true. If you want to assign some variable, you always use single equals to, but if you want to check the Boolean, you need to give a double equals to. This is a very common error that a lot of even the advanced level programmers make, so be careful when you're programming. So here we need to print out um, A is equals to B, and later on else, let's say just I really don't know, or we can say in case the b is greater than so we have a is greater than b, we have a is equals to b, we have a is less than b. Okay, so here we should be fine. Now if we run this code, the first print statement is going to be printed out, which is a is greater than b. But if we set them together, let's say 5 and 5, second statement should be met. In the third case, a is less than b. So if we set the value of a to 4, the third statement should be printed out. So in this way, you can control the flow of your application depending upon the variables input. The last thing we need to cover here is the taking the input from the user, which is very crucial in like a lot of the situations you'll be using this. So let's say you want to take some user input. and you need to call in the built-in function of Python for that, and you need to like prompt the user what you're looking for. Input, let's say, input the value between um, 5 and 25. So the user is supposed to give us this value between 5 and 25. We run this code. Now you see here that this application is requiring some input to be inserted. And if we say 10, we are going to have some input that is stored in the user input. Now, if we print out this value, we would see that this is indeed the value that we inserted it in, that it was 10. But you would also see that the type of this input is string. If you see type str, so remember, no, not sorry, the str, but the user input is also a string. This is another common mistakes that the beginners make is to not explicitly transform the user input into the respective type that they want to use. For example, if you are because you are taking in the input as an integer, we need to typecast it. This concept is called typecast. You need to call it typecast it into the integer. So user dot input int, and here you insert. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. Follow for more for such valuable information. If you have any suggestions to improve the quality of these videos, please let me know, and see you until next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.